All right, guys, you're welcome to the Views from the Stand. I'm here with my man, Friday Bobby. Bobby Igwe, who is a Man United fan. And you know what that means? He's very, very excited. I'm ashamed to wear my Arsenal jersey today. So I stick with my country. I'm a lover of my country. So I'm a Nigerian today. Long story short, Manchester United got the job done, and that's one of the things you want to see in football. I always say that beautiful football without result is like romance without penetration. So you can interpret it anyhow you want. But let me start with asking Bobby this. Bobby, for you, exciting football or just results? Which do you prefer?
Mm, well, football is made to entertain, but football is also a business. So even if you want exciting football, the end product is results. I always pick results, most importantly. Most importantly, I pick results. But over a long period of time, there has to be exciting football. Not necessarily exciting, not necessarily just to entertain, but it has to be pleasing to the eye, something that people will like to watch, something that can get people captivated. But the end product, which I always go for, is results. Results.
So
That's why I like Mourinho.
let me put it this way. Yes, I wanted to bring in Mourinho into the conversation. Would you take a football like the way Man United played yesterday over the course of 38 league matches? If they play like that, they go unbeaten, they don't lose any game, they win every game, but that's how they play. Are you satisfied?
I won't be satisfied. If I'm satisfied, that means I'm not ambitious. So I won't be satisfied.
But when you have
But
ambitions, that means that they win
yeah.
the league. Because if they play like that and they don't lose any game, they win every game, that means that they win the league.
Yeah, but ambition is also about improvement. It's about going from one level to another level. If you keep on playing like that, then there's no improvement. Because if you remember, even that games under Ten Hag we played like that. You can call it survival football, where you're trying to survive, but you get that end result. But you can't always play like that. Remember, they say the top teams, the top teams are the ones that win games without playing well. They don't say the top teams will continue winning games without playing well. There will be some games like that. Of course, you will have some games like that. Those kind of games will test your mentality, test your mental resolve. It will test your strengths. So that's why you need those kind of games. Yeah.
Well, there's also a flip side to this conversation. With the way Manchester United have played so far,
Yeah.
is there possibility that there is going to be any signing in this January?
Some people are optimistic that we are going to sign. I'm not optimistic, but that doesn't mean we won't sign. Um, the only way we can sign because of the PSR financial fair play, we need to sell to buy. And at the moment, we haven't sold anyone. So that's why I'm not confident that we're going to get somebody. We need somebody. Amorim needs somebody. But prior to the window, when some people were jumping up saying that Manchester United will have a busy January transfer window, I didn't see that. I didn't see that because we have to sell. Who are we going to sell? Most likely, among the players who are being talked about will be Casemiro. And even Casemiro might get us like 20 million, 25 million. For amortization, that money doesn't go into financial fair play. That money is just to offset what is left of what we've been paying for Casemiro 2, 3 years. So that is no money. Who else do you think we can get off? Okay, Rashford. Rashford most probably is going to be a loan. And yes, when you get a loan, you've offset maybe like 150,000 of his 325,000 pounds a week salary. So that can give you some mental resolve, but that can give you a leeway to maybe a loan. So invariably, we need to sell,
Would
and
you
we don't have much to sell.
sell
Pardon?
would you say Garnacho?
Um, Left to me, I won't want to sell Garnacho now. The reason why I won't want to sell Garnacho now because if you decide to sell him now, you might get 50 million. And I think in a year or two, you can almost double that amount. So why rush and sell him now? But we need money. And the only reason why I would even consider selling him is because as it stands, he doesn't really fit into Amarim's system. And if you don't fit the system, you have to go, no matter your talents. So I won't rush to sell him. I won't rush to sell him. selling him would be like when you're in a very, very tight spot. But I won't rush to sell him. I think it is too early to sell him now. It's like some people saying sell Xerxes. Xerxes has only had 6 months. You have to give him time. Are those people who are saying that, have they forgotten about Evra and Vidic? Those two players came in January. They were shite for 6 months. The following season came, they stepped up, and now they're legends. So I think even the Xerxes, you have to give him time.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I cannot have Ezekiel in my team and decide to sell him because when he plays, remember yesterday when he came against Arsenal, it was the guy who was taking the fight to the Arsenal defense. It was the guy who could keep the ball for more longer than maybe Bruno Fernandes and any other player. He wasn't just taking the ball and rushing to kick it into space. He could nutmeg, it could dribble. He was causing problem. You know, if there was a team that was going to score on the run of play yesterday, it was Manchester United, even though they didn't create too many chances. But the little that they created was trouble. And you see the goalkeeper had to make like a wonderful reflex save to divert that ball off. If not, Manchester United would have won the game, not even stressing to go into penalty. Having said that, I saw, when I talked about Gernacho, I saw Abibayo Deji nodding his head. He would sell him. Or I don't know what he means by that nodding of head, but you look good with your face cap and glasses anyway. Abib, welcome. And joining in from Indiana, United States of America. You guys are counting down to inauguration. Is inauguration good news for you or bad news?
Okay, I'll try to stay apolitical, but it depends on what side of the divide you are on.
What side
So
of
if you are, what side of the divide am I on? I'm on the side of the divide that favors like intellect to some degree, or not anti-science. I can't be in support of like someone who is like anti-science or who discredits the work of scientists. Like, come on, we put in too much work for you to come and say a lot of trashy things about us.
But if you consider big pharma's magic science across the world, you wouldn't really blame somebody who comes out and blame science or discredit science because as good as, I mean, I'm on the side of science. So as good as science have been, science have also been manipulated, just like the internet. As good as the internet have been manipulated in such a way that you begin to ask yourself questions like, are you really going to support this madness? They created coronavirus. They created AIDS. They created a lot of problems. But let's move away from that one. I would pick Trump any day over Joe Biden as my president.
Absolutely.
I will. Okay. Sleepy Joe is just not supposed to even come in for 4 years. America is a country on autopilot. That's why they had the 4 years that it didn't bother them. Some other countries will crash. Having said that, you were nodding your head when I asked if Bobby would sell Garnacho. What says you? Say Garnacho doesn't fit the system. It was a turn in Arsenal's flesh yesterday. In the few occasions where he had the ball, it's full of running. How does the player not even fit his system? Can't you coach the player how your system work and the players adapt? So I don't understand. But so the way I followed football, I'm sorry, we had a little bit of break. The way I followed football, my growing up, is that every coach that comes in, you have to adapt to the system of that coach. So if a coach is playing 4-4-2 or 4-2-4, as it was in our days before 4-3-3 came in, and then all these other extra that came in, you as a player have to adapt. This idea that the player does not fit into a system is always strange. First time I heard it was Jim Papin going to AC Milan anyway. It was 1989 or so. But now it's become too much. But having said that, Abib, will you sell Garnacho right now?
Oh, yes, because I feel like I don't think he can develop into that world-class talent or that pedestal that will place him on. And there are some reasons why I feel like he cannot, and some are a bit controversial, very, very controversial. I don't think for someone who idolizes Ronaldo and who has also played alongside Messi, I don't think he has that work ethic in him to become better. And that's like the first red flag. Like it's for me, it's even annoying that you have stands. People look up to footballers and they idolize them, but they don't take elements from those people they idolize. They only just worship them. Like you look up to this person, you are not looking at his work ethics, you're not looking at his lifestyle, you're not looking at his balance, you're not looking at his off-field antics. It's annoying because I feel like Garnacho, there are some elements in his game that he should have worked on. Like his dribbling is bad, his passing is a bit poor, it's very atrocious in the way he dribbles. It's like sometimes it takes too many heavy first touch. And there are aspects of his games, like let's say pressing and your willingness to like track back. Those things are missing in his game. And I don't think, and all those elements are like self-driven and self-motivating. If you don't have those elements in you, there's little or nothing a coach can do. A coach can probably train you on like your technique, on your shooting, but if you don't have that drive in you to become better, it's like I don't know. I think it's best we probably cash in on Garnacho. If the offer comes for him, cashing money, you can get like 60 million, you can get like 70 million. I'm not this kind of people that believe like, oh, what if in future he's going to become a world-class talent? Good for him. But as it stands now, it doesn't fit into, technically, it doesn't fit into the profile Amorim wants to play. And it's quite outrageous because he's a young player. He still has time to develop. And the reason why I'm saying that this is because I don't see signs or evidence that will point into the direction that Garnacho is going to develop into that world-class Ronaldo talent. Like when Ronaldo came into Manchester United, you could see the talent was there.
I would differ.
No. I mean talent-wise.
Yeah. I mean, it was atrocious. It was just. No. It was, that time I remember like, who's this guy that does not have a sense of direction, just want to dribble recklessly? It was
let's compare Garnacho's talent-wise with Ronaldo's talent-wise at another time. Is Garnacho even a fraction of that talent-wise?
I'll give you an example. If you weigh when Rooney broke into United and when Ronaldo broke into United, remember that Rooney was practically a first-team player at the age of 18.
Yes.
Rooney made his debut in the Champions League and scored a hat-trick. Rooney was the one people were talking about, not Ronaldo. Remember, even when they did the Golden Boy Awards, Rooney finished ahead of Ronaldo. Ronaldo used to infuriate me then. Remember,
everybody.
If we compare Ronaldo's performances at age 19, 20 and compare it to what's his name?
Bobby, it's not the performance I'm comparing. I'm comparing the talent. Not the performance this wise.
Sorry?
To
perform. It is in the performance that we now start judging the talent.
Yes, but the thing was like Ronaldo was quite inconsistent. But talent-wise, on his A-day, it was like when he first broke out, it was like phenomenal. Even Gernacho on his A-day, there is nothing that points to like, oh my God, this guy is dazzling me. This guy is amazing, or this guy is world class, or something like that.
Made up your mind on Gernacho. I do think that Gernacho have got that talent. I don't know, today as an analyst, I'm even cautious because I grew up. I was telling somebody the other day, don't blame me when I raise the standard very high. When somebody called me in a meeting, I was asking me, what do I have against Alex Iwobi, for instance? And I said to him, listen, bros, before you judge me, walk my road. I grew up when Pavel Nedved played football, when Thierry Henry played football, when Joko was seen as an amateur player. A player like Joko was seen as not good enough. When Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was seen as a super sub, that's the best he can be. Cannot be a starter for a team. In today's world, anybody in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's level will be declared a world-class player, a regular starter, can't be benched by any coach. If you try to bench him, there'll be a problem. Because of his talent, a guy who can come off the bench and score 4 goals, and the next game is going to sit on the bench for the next 10 games, and nobody's going to complain because he knows it's not good enough. Right? So the times have changed. I grew up when Vominia Boban was playing football. I grew up when Zinedine Zidane was playing football. When Figo was regarded as, just there, not even the world-class guy, just there, fighting his way to be a world-class player. And now you're telling me Alex Iwobi, for instance, is a world-class player. So the times have changed, the generation, the expectations are different. When Cristiano Ronaldo came into Manchester United was the predominant team in England. And they had a team that was packed full with great players. There was Paul Scholes or Kane, even though at the end of their career, but all of these guys were there. There was everybody. There was Berbatov, there was Tevez, there was Wayne Rooney.
Giggs.
There was Giggs. Now, you have Gernacho, who you expect. That's one of the problems I have with Arsenal. At best, Bukayo Saka today is in the level where Jose Antonio Reyes was. But I will pick Jose Antonio Reyes ahead of him. There was never a time Arsenal expected that Jose Antonio Reyes was the main man at Arsenal. Because there's Thierry Henry, there's Freddie Ljungberg, there is Vieira, there is a whole lot of other people who envelop him. Play your game. Even many years of Robert Van Persie's early beginning. But today, Bukayo Saka is expected to be the Thierry Henry, the Dennis Bergkamp, the Wright. It's impossible. Even when what's it called? Anelka came in 97, 98, he wasn't the main man. There were other people. He was just a guy who was benefiting off their good play. Now, this is the same thing with Gernacho. Gernacho is expected to just be the main man and just kickstart everything and make everything happen. If that Cristiano Ronaldo that you're talking about that time, you take away Wayne Rooney, take away Tevez, and make him the main man, you would have hated him. Maybe we wouldn't even have gotten this Cristiano Ronaldo that we now have. So we should understand that balance. Having said that, let's not stay in England alone. A couple of weeks ago at the beginning of the season, out of nowhere, Mbappe decided to play the offside Clasico while FC Barcelona played the El Clasico. And a lot of people said it was a fluke. They took the Super Cup to Saudi Arabia. Barcelona found their way to the finals, just the same way Real Madrid found their way to the finals. And everybody said, okay, Real Madrid is going to prove to Barcelona who the boss is. 5 goals to freaking 2. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't, one lucky play. They scored all type of goals. They had played Real Madrid, even though some Madrid fans are still hollering and refusing to agree. On the back of this, what says you about the Real Madrid Galactico problem? This is the second Galactico. The first Galactico did not succeed. If we measure them based on the Galacticos that they bring and the return on investment, they didn't succeed, but they were still better than this. This Galactico, is this a case of fixing what is not broken or overcooking the broth? Bobby.
Okay. Fixing what isn't the problem. I don't really say, you could say bringing Mbappe is trying to fix a problem that doesn't really exist.
There was no problem with that
Pardon?
team. They won the champion and they brought in Mbappe. There was not a problem with the team.
But they won the Champions League and Toni Kroos left. They didn't replace Toni Kroos.
Mbappe is not the replacement for Toni Kroos.
No, that's what I'm saying. They didn't replace Toni Kroos because what I'm saying is that Toni Kroos leaving, there is a problem now. So they didn't replace Toni Kroos. I think the problem of this team is balance. From the spine, there is no consistent defender. There is no replacement for Kroos to create that, to be the metronome in that midfield. And there is no number 9. And the issue of, what's his name? Mbappe, Vinicius, it can't work. It can't work. I was saying it before, even when he was coming that it can't work. Out of the Vinicius, Mbappe, and Rodrigo, one has to leave. So that somebody can ideally slot into the middle and everybody gets back into their ideal positions. At this stage, now, I don't expect, I said it at the beginning, I wasn't expecting much from Madrid. This would just be like a learning curve for Mbappe. He settles into the team. And from next season, they carry on. And either carrying on they might also need fresh ideas in the dugouts because they might need a change of personnel in the dugout. And he moves on. That's just the thing. The team has no balance. There's no balance in that team. It's just like they're trying to juggle, trying to fit people, trying to make sure everybody can fit into the team. But there's no balance. And once there's no balance, this team is not going to be successful. Obviously, they won't be successful. The major problem of the old Galactico, apart from egos, was balance. That team was not balanced. There was no balance. And with that way, you're not going to be successful. So until they get that balance, nothing.
I mean, is Barcelona the best crisis managing team post-COVID? If you look at the fact that their finances are in shambles, they sign players, they have to go to court multiple times to be able to register the players. Sometimes they can't, they just have to let them go. But on the field, the result is good. Xavi came, won one league title. As Flick came in with all the problem with signing of players, letting some go so that some other people can be registered. They've won the Super Cup. They might go on to win the league. We don't know yet. Are they the best crisis managers we've ever had to see, post-COVID or even before COVID?
Yes and no. I think I'll start off by Bobby's last point, which was a question you asked. So I think sometimes people overreact, especially when it comes to Madrid. The reason is because most times the best way to judge Madrid or Barcelona side is basically like this through these big games where they meet each other, the El Clasico, the world is looking at them, and whatever results happens is what everybody will run along with. Take, for example, Barcelona have been, their form in the league has not been good of recent. They lost to Atletico Madrid, and they've been on like a losing streak of late. Their form hasn't really been good. And at some point, they were on top of the league. They had probably 7 points gap. Now they are now third with 5 points behind Real Madrid. So if you look at it holistically, Madrid statistically are doing better. Even Atletico Madrid are doing better than Barcelona. But on this one-off games, where you have this El Clasico and Barcelona trashes Real Madrid, then everybody starts to overreact and be like, oh, is Madrid falling? Is the Galactico project falling? And you ignore previous results. And at the end of the day, I've always learned not to write off this Madrid side. This is a Madrid side that won the Champions League without a recognized striker last season. This Madrid side have been on the brink of death, and they've come back to life so many times. So I think to some degree, we are overreacting. And at the end of the season, if Madrid wins the Champions League again, would we say they're a terrible side? And Barcelona, with all their trashing of Real Madrid in the El Clasico, probably they will also meet in the El Clasico again in the reverse picture, and they trash Real Madrid, and Madrid goes on to win the Champions League again. Would we say Real Madrid have a terrible season? With that aside, I think Barcelona, I think when it comes to managing crisis, I think Hansi Flick has done a fantastic job, especially when it comes to blooding in these youngsters. But for the kind of football he wants to play, which is
as a Flick.
Sorry?
Maybe he's more of Florentino Perez than as a Flick.
For Barcelona.
What's it called? Juan Laporta, sorry.
Oh, yes. Their finances for the past 10 years has been in shambles. Overpaying Messi, overpaying for Neymar, overpaying for Suarez, all those things, and especially their terrible transfer where they went in to sign in Dembele, Coutinho. There was this window where they were making terrible transfers back to back, and it has come back to bite them in their ass. So, but because of this, they've had to rely heavily on La Masia. And this is where I fear for them and worry for them. Because of the high-octane football this guy wants to play, as a Flick, it's high pressing, it's vertical, it's direct. It's too energy intensive for these young players coming in from La Masia. They've had 2, I think, ACL injuries with, I think, one of their central defensive midfielder and also one of their defenders again. And for Lamine Yamal, who is just 17 years old, the amount of game that guy is playing is ridiculous. I don't care if Lamine Yamal is world class. That guy is world class. That guy is exceptional. But a 17-year-old playing that amount of games, it's worrisome. It's shocking to me.
Is there a law against a 17-year-old playing that number of games, though?
Yes.
Because, again, let's be very honest about this. Is it not supposed to be when you're younger, you play more games? And then when you start getting old, you do load shedding? Take, for instance, basketball. You play more games when you're younger, you load shed when you're older. So why are we complaining in football?
The difference is Yami Yamal is still growing. That guy is still growing.
Okay.
He's still in his, let's say, puberty stage. That guy is probably going to get taller. He's going to put on more weight and he's going to get physical. So you are putting too much strain on his body that it's still developing and growing. That guy has a baby face. I shouldn't be saying that because I also have a baby face. So
I just want to in.
Yeah, because I shouldn't be saying that because I also have a baby face. Because that guy is still young and you are putting too much expectation on a 17-year-old because you want to replace Lionel Messi or you want him to become the next Lionel Messi.
No, they're not.
And sometimes
I think they're trying to replace Lionel Messi. He's the guy that the mantle fall on right now is his job. Lionel Messi didn't come to replace Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho didn't come to replace Romario. This is, if you know Barcelona, this is Barcelona. This is what they do. In competitive football, in professional sports, when you're the guy that is in charge, that is leading the project, you've got to lead. Whatever comes out of it, it's your cup of tea. You've got to do it. Ronnie, for instance, played all the football with his youthfulness. And look at him now looking like a 75-year-old man. This is football. You get paid all those big checks. Your family get taken care of. And the club needs the player to, kind of like come and save the day. And you turn up to be the guy who stood up. So be it. You can also be old and not deliver. But let's jump away from that. One player that I thought that this January transfer window would be everybody is struggling for him and, everybody will be battling for him was Victor Osimhen. I think that the tempo, the breeze has simmered down a bit. Even the noise around Rashford is higher than Osimhen right now. Is this a precursor of what is to come in the summer? That when we get to the summer, we might be looking at Victor Osimhen and be saying, maybe they are not really takers for him. Is that going to happen? Because I expected that in this January, maybe they will say no, but people will throw in their hat in the ring and say, we need Osimhen, and then say, we're not selling him now. We want to wait till the summer. But that has not happened. Is this a sign of what is to come in the summer? Bobby, let's start with you.
I don't think so. I think it's still the backdrop of FFP, PSR. Like we ask ourselves.
So the FFP is going to change in the summer?
Pardon?
The FFP is going to change in the summer?
But by the time you get to the summer, the FFP the PSR window closes by the end of June. So after June, that is a fresh year. For now, you're still within that year. So if you can't meet up with that year, you have to push it to the summer. Because if you ask yourself, Arsenal needs a striker, what are they doing? Chelsea needs a striker, what are they doing? City, yes, we know they're talking to Mamouche, but they haven't signed him. They need a striker, what are they doing? So there are clubs who need strikers, and there are strikers available, but they're not making the move. And if you check how many top strikers are available for, let's say, between, let's say around 65, 70 million pounds now, how many can you call? Let's say you call Osimhen, you call Mamouche, that's all. Vlahovic, to me, is not a top striker.
Yeah.
What's his name? Gyökeres, if you want to get him now, to be like 80-something million. So I think that is, I even said it before, prior to January, that all this talk, there might not be takers in January like that to pay that 65 million pounds. Though I think getting Osimhen
Bobby, I think you are seeing it as a one-way street. You are seeing it like just pay 65 million pounds and that's it. What of the salary of Osimhen? I think Osimhen is probably demanding around 400 or close to like.
To me, I don't believe that crap. I don't, because who is giving you 400,000 pounds?
Exactly. So
exactly.
If Osimhen, I think that was one of the reasons why the deal against Chelsea fell through.
No, I don't believe. I heard about that talk, but to me, I don't think that's factual.
Wait, how much would you pay Osimhen in terms of wages?
Osimhen currently earns around 160,000 euros a week. So if you give him 200,000, that's okay. And meanwhile, you might not even give him 200,000. You can give him 100.
Bobby, are you serious? Give him 200. So just a 40% increase.
How much do you want to give him? 250. How many clubs in the Premier League or how many players in the Premier League earn 250,000 pounds a week? The
Wait,
rubbish
wait,
we are giving Rashford.
put yourself as his agent. How much would you negotiate
His
for him?
agent is dumb. That is what I'm saying. Even his agent is a dumb agent. That agent he has now is a dumb agent. Because if that agent was the right agent, Osimhen would have left Napoli. Osimhen wouldn't have signed that contract, the last contract extension he signed. He wouldn't sign that. Why would you sign that kind of contract? How can you put yourself in that position? So that means if you check his agent is not even doing his work. So bringing the agent, I will get a better agent now, and he will negotiate better terms for me. But that agent has not been doing the right thing.
So
It's obvious.
you still haven't answered the question. So as his agent, how much would you negotiate for him?
How much will I negotiate? I will
Yes.
negotiate. Depends on the club. Pardon?
To millions. The right question will be, how much is Osimhen worth on a weekly wage?
Yeah, exactly.
Osimhen is not worth more than £200,000 a week.
As his agent, that's the question, Bobby.
As his agent.
Yeah. How much would you negotiate for him?
See, it also depends on the club you are going to. Let's say you're going to Saudi Arabia. Yes, you can say 400, 600,000 pounds a week. If you're going to PSG, you can say 200, 250. If you're going to United, weighing what United is in, you can't go more than 200. Even 200, you might not even get. There's a way you have to package it: incentive, bonuses, games met, targets met, all those things. You add that into the clause and boost it up. Those are the things you do if you're trying to be wise and play smart. But you're saying Osimhen £300,000 a week. Which club is going to give Osimhen that money now? Let's forget about dilly-dallying, dancing around. Which club will give him a £300,000 package a week now? That's the thing you have to check.
So wrap up with Arsenal. Would you classify the entire era of Arteta a failure if we come to the end of this season, he doesn't win anything? Because that's how he's looking like right now. Would you classify it a failure, and then the board should look for another manager that will take it from the level that Arteta has taken it to the next level?
Let me go first. Edafe, Bobby, it's not everyone that you date that leads to marriage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are some there are some people you date, it doesn't lead to marriage. So
Yeah.
it's the same case with Arteta. So Arteta relationship will not lead to marriage. And what is marriage in this question? Silverware. So there are some people that just come into your life to prepare you for what marriage will look like, what dating feels like, what romantic feeling look like. So I think Arteta is the person that comes to prepare the table for the king to come and feast on. So yeah, I think he has done a tremendous job from taking Arsenal from the shambles they were to building a team that is very difficult to beat. Incredible job. I think it deserves all the praises, all the flowers you can give to him. But if you are talking about next stage, in terms of mentality, I think there's also a mental block. I don't know if Arteta is the one that can take Arsenal out of that mental block. But yeah, he has done a fantastic job. The next manager that comes in has to be an upgrade to Arteta, someone who has like ferocious mentality and who is like trophy driven. So yeah, like I said, not everybody you date leads to marriage. Yeah. I don't know what Bobby thinks.
40 seconds.
I would say even if he doesn't win a trophy this season, he's not a failure. He has to be given next season, and he has to get that striker, even if it means ringing it into his damn ear. That guy, you need a striker. Guy, you need cover in certain areas. You need competition on the right wing, left wing, in the midfield. You need that, or else it is evident you're not going to win the Premier League title, because that is the main onus. It's not even the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup. Champions League, there might be a better pathway, but you ain't going to win the Premier League if you don't get these things done. So I'll give, even if he doesn't win this season, I'll give him next season still.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for being on the show. We've come to the end of the show today. Let's do it again on Friday. Bye-bye, everyone.
Yeah, peace.